I work from home. Everything I do on the computer is for my family. I make money that way, and my mother-in-law is coming into my house now and trying to ruin everything I've built. She says I'm not a man because I sit on my computer all day. Well, little do you know, Miss Harlow, this isn't 1943. I'm making money for my family, and I'm going to tell her this. I've always found solace in the hum of my computer and the flickering code of my screen. The repetitive tapping on my keyboard was the song of life. A rhythm, basically. I'm a loving father, a caring husband, and a diligent web developer. I live in the heart of the city. I lived with my wife, Lily, and our two wonderful kids, Ava and Max. Our apartment was full of laughter, love, and a bit of, well, my computer sounds. Lily's job as a recruitment manager often took her on the road, and it was understandable after all that her line of work required her to always be on the move. Consequently, I structured my work to ensure that I could be home with Ava and Max. They were my angels. They understood that Daddy had to work and would often sit quietly drawing or reading while I tapped away on my computer. Our life was an orchestrated symphony. We had our challenges, but we knew how to make our unique family structure work, and that was until that stupid day when Lily's mother, Miss Harlow, knocked on the door. With tears filled with her eyes, she narrated the tale of her sudden widowhood and the loneliness of her village life. We could not turn her away, not when she was grieving, so she came to live with us. Well, from the outset, Miss Harlow's contempt for me, was thinly veiled. Often I'd overhear her whispering to Lily, "Look at him, always at home playing on his little computer. Isn't he supposed to be a man working a real job?" Well, one day I was deep in a conference call with a client, and Max and Ava burst into my makeshift office demanding some ice cream. This was very unlike them. They knew better than to disrupt me while I was in the middle of a workday. Trying to maintain my composure, I gently told them to leave the room. But as they left in a moment of sheer frustration, I slammed the door behind them. Unknown to me, Miss Harlow orchestrated this entire incident with her phone in hand. She showed Lily the video of me, quote, overreacting, and carefully omitting the part where she'd guided the kids into disrupting me. My heart shattered when Lily, after a heated argument, asked me to leave our home. Blinded by the manipulative proof, she was firmly under her mother's spell. Feeling defeated and a bit hurt, I moved back to my parents' house. Though the same city still separated us and it felt like miles apart, and I missed my kids terribly, and the thought of them under the manipulative clutches of this Miss Harlow, my stupid mother-in-law, gnawed at me. One afternoon, while I was driving past a convenience store, I spotted Max and Ava. They were out sitting on a curb, looking a bit forlorn as they waited for their mother to finish shopping. Approaching them, I learned from a concerned neighbor that Miss Harlow was increasingly harsh with the children, even to the point of neglect. My heart ached and I could not leave them like this, so I took them with me. Kidnapped my own kids. Lily was furious when she found out, but as I recounted the events, and as Max and Ava tearfully confirmed Miss Harlow's behavior, realization dawned on her. We've both been played. What's up, everybody? Mr. Reddito here. So today's story has quite a few updates. We're going to check out a couple comments before we hop into update 1. If you guys are new to the channel, take a second, hit that subscribe button for daily videos, and here is comment number 1. This might be a bit old school, but I genuinely believe that family matters should remain within the family. Before seeking external interventions, why not arrange a family meeting, gather everybody involved, and discuss the issues openly? Sometimes just sitting down and laying out concerns can clear up any misunderstandings. In my experience, problems escalate when people avoid talking, so communicate openly and honestly. Comment number 2. Hey OP, I've been in somewhat of a similar situation. What worked for me was distancing myself from the toxic environment for a while. Sometimes taking a break and giving each other space to breathe can be therapeutic. During this break, focus on self-care, and maybe even see an individual counselor to gain perspective. When you feel ready, approach the situation with a clear mind. It's hard to see the big picture when you're caught amid chaos of your mother-in-law. Update number 1. Hey guys, back again. After the incident where we discovered my mother-in-law manipulating my children and trying to paint me as an unfit father, my wife Lily and I had some very difficult conversations to undertake. Our life had taken a 180-degree turn, and we were navigating uncharted territories of our relationship we've never fought. Ava and Max, my kids, were confused and emotionally bruised from the manipulation. They loved their grandmother, but they were slowly beginning to see the cracks of her facade, and one evening after the kids were tucked into bed, Lily and I sat down in our living room. The lights were dimmed from the solitary lamp cast long shadows on the floor, and we were reflecting on our mood. I took a deep breath and started. Lily, we need to talk about your mother. I know, I can't believe she'd go this far. I understand she's your mother, and I respect the boundaries and whatnot, but we need to think about our family's well-being, Lily. She's been causing a rift between us and emotionally manipulating our kids. I've been thinking, maybe it's best if we find an elderly care facility for her, somewhere she can get the care and attention that she needs, and possibly interact with her peers. Well, it was not an easy decision. Well, despite her actions, she was still family. We spent weeks researching facilities, ensuring that they were the highest of standard, and after multiple visits and consultations, we finally found a lovely place called Serenity Haven. The staff seemed to be very caring, and the environment was peaceful, I'll be honest. After one last malicious stunt, are you ready for this one? Miss Harlow tried to pit Ava against Max by lying about stolen toys and instigating fights between them. Lily was convinced, and we sat Miss Harlow down and explained our decision. To our surprise, she didn't really resist or argue, just nodded quietly. We hope this was a sign of her coming to terms with her actions, and for 2 months, our home became our sanctuary again. Max and Ava were healing, and Lily and I were rediscovering our bond. But, as they say, calm seas never made skilled sailors, and our storm was just on the horizon. One sunny afternoon, a familiar knock echoed through our apartment. Opening the door, we found Miss Harlow's suitcases in tow and a defiant look upon her face. They kicked me out. Oh, what happened, Mom? They don't care enough. Always arguing with me. It's not a fit place for me, you know. Come on, Lily. Quick call to Serenity Haven revealed a darker story that Miss Harlow had not been telling us. Miss Harlow had been consistently disruptive, getting into heated debates with the staff and other residents. She was given multiple warnings but refused to cooperate. Due to a legal loophole in her admission paperwork, well, Serenity Haven decided to release her from their care. They suggested we look into a more specialized facility. Lily and I were at a crossroads. We could not abandon Miss Harlow, but we could not let her destroy our family either. For the time being, she was back in our household, but the dynamics have changed. I took it upon myself to set some ground rules. We had family therapy sessions, where Miss Harlow confronted her feelings of inadequacy and bitterness, and the children, though weary, tried to rebuild their relationship with their grandmother. Lily and I decided to seek legal counsel to ensure that we weren't caught in another loophole, and to find a solution that catered to Miss Harlow's needs while ensuring our family's peace. As I type this update, Miss Harlow's playing a board game with Ava and Max. They laugh and they argue over game rules, but I can't help but feel the tension underneath. Lily and I are bracing ourselves, wondering how our life is going to evolve with this new reality. Update number 2. Hey guys, so buckle yourself in for this update. It's been 4 months since my last update, and honestly, I feel like I'm at my wit's end. When I last wrote to you all, we had reintegrated Miss Harlow into our home, right? Hoping therapy and clear boundaries would mend the emotional chaos that she'd previously inflicted. The optimism, though short-lived, was genuine. But today I'm reaching out. hoping for guidance, perhaps a bit of insight, or just a place to vent my growing frustration. The therapy sessions in the beginning seemed like a beacon of hope Miss Harlow couldn't, need. Occasionally shed a tear and even apologized to us, but as weeks turned into months, it became very evident that her participation was nothing but a facade. While Lily was away at work, Miss Harlow's manipulation resurfaced, this time more sophisticated and sinister. It started subtly, whispered conversations between her and Ava and Max that would seize the moment I entered the room. Then came the gifts, little trinkets and toys given to the kids, but with a caveat that they should not mention them to Daddy. The crescendo of her manipulations reached an all-time high last week. I just landed a significant contract with a client, and to celebrate, I decided to bake a chocolate cake for the family. The kids were excited, eagerly helping me decorate it, and we placed it in the fridge, waiting for Lily to get home. And as the evening approached, I found Max and Ava crying in their room. Upon asking Ava with tear-filled eyes, she showed me a photo on her tablet, the cake smeared and destroyed with a caption typed out, "Look what Dad did when he thought that you would not share with Grandma." My heart sank. I rushed to the kitchen and sure enough, our celebratory cake was ruined. Miss Harlow played innocent, suggesting maybe I'd forgotten how I left it. The message was clear. She was planting seeds of distrust, making it look like I was the villain. I tried discussing it with Lily, but she was torn. That's her mother, after all. I can see a bit of conflict in her eyes, and we both remember the peace during those 2 months without Miss Harlow. But how do you choose between your husband and your mother? So here's where I am, guys. Everybody reading, I'm contemplating something crazy. Using my life savings to buy a small 2-bedroom house for Miss Harlow. I found a quaint little place near a community center right down the road. It's not fancy, but it's peaceful. When I brought up the idea to Lily, she was vehemently against it. That money is meant for our dream house, a place where we've been planning to build for our family's future. Well, I understand her viewpoint, but I'm suffocating and I'm desperate to regain the harmony in our home. So I turn to you guys. What would you do? How do you navigate a situation where it feels like every choice leads to sacrifice? Update number 3. Hello again. I honestly did not expect to be writing an update this soon, especially just 2 days after my previous post, but things have taken an unexpected and frankly alarming turn. To recap, I was grappling with the idea of using my savings to buy a separate place for Miss Harlow, just to salvage a bit of peace in our home. Many of you gave some heartfelt advice, and I truly appreciate every perspective. Now, on to the recent events. It was a typical Tuesday afternoon, and I was engrossed in a client meeting via a video call. Just as I was wrapping up, I heard a loud commotion from my study. I muted my microphone and listened intently. It sounded like Lily, and she was upset. After finishing the call, I rushed to the study and found a scene that left me dumbstruck. My workplace was wet. The smell of electronics filled the air, and my keyboard was dripping. But what shocked me more was Lily standing near the door, eyes wide, staring at her mother. As the story unraveled, it turned out that Lily had come home early from work and had walked into the study just in time to see Miss Harlow pouring water all over my computer. She had intended to blame the kids, leading to another wedge between me and my children. When confronted, Miss Harlow, in a tone dripping with disdain, she mentioned she was, quote, sick and tired of seeing me glued to my computer, accusing me of not being a real man who takes care of his family. The sheer audacity and malice of the act of me had me reeling. Thankfully, I can't emphasize this enough, Lily had the presence of mind to quickly unplug the computer from the power supply. A later inspection revealed that while the computer was unharmed, thank goodness, however, the keyboard was a casualty. We're at a critical juncture now. Lily is visibly shaken. The reality that her mother could go to such lengths, endangering our livelihood, seems to have finally penetrated the emotional barrier she's built to protect herself from the truth about her mom. After the incident, she pulled me aside and whispered, "If she does one more thing, I'll agree to whatever it takes to ensure she's out of our house, even if it means using our savings." Once again, I turn to you guys seeking advice, guidance, or just a bit of comfort. Thank you. Update number 4. 3 months. 3 long months since my last update, and as always, I deeply appreciate the outpouring support and advice from everybody. The last 3 months, miraculously, were quiet. Miss Harlow seemed to have finally grasped the fact that my work from home isn't just aimless browsing, but how I provide for my family. I started to let my guard down, thinking perhaps we've turned a corner, but oh boy, I was wrong. Just last evening, as Lily began preparing dinner after returning from work, Miss Harlow chose to confront me. With our kids playing nearby and Lily in the kitchen, she demanded, in a tone loud enough for the entire house to hear, "Why don't you ever cook dinner in the house? Why does Lily have to work outside and come home to cook? What kind of man are you?" I was blindsided utterly. I stammered, trying to find words, but the truth is, while I contribute significantly around the house, cooking is one of the tasks I'm honestly terrible at. Lily has a passion for it, and it's her way of unwinding, but before I could muster a coherent response, the damage was done. In the subsequent days, Max and Ava started parroting what they had heard and questioning why, quote, "Daddy makes Mommy cook." Their innocent faces, now clouded with a hint of doubt about their father, have been devastating. Lily hasn't said much. She did try to talk to the kids, explaining that families work together and that every member has a role to play. But the seed of discord Miss Harlow sowed seems to have taken root. Many of you suggested that if Miss Harlow crossed another line, we should consider sending her away, and to be honest, this feels like that line. But here's the dilemma. I'm no longer sure I even want to offer to buy her a home. After all the chaos, manipulation, and heartbreak, it's hard to justify such an act. So I do turn to you guys one more time. How would you handle this relentless mother-in-law who seems determined to turn your family against you? Now, amid all this emotional turmoil, I received a bit of news that's left me conflicted. I despise the manipulative side of Miss Harlow, but I've never wished harm or suffering upon her. We've recently learned that she's been diagnosed with osteoarthritis, which is severely affecting her mobility. I'm torn between sympathy and anger. Watching her struggle with her movement evokes genuine pity. But then the memories of her divisive tactics flood back, leaving me seething. Update number 5. Just when I thought our family drama could not get any stranger, Miss Harlow threw us a curveball. Grab some popcorn because this update's crazy. For the past few weeks, Miss Harlow started using Uber. That alone would have been innocuous if it weren't for the fact that she hardly ever left the house. The destination was always the same: the city community center for bingo. Both Lily and I found this odd. She's never interested in bingo before, and the phrase bingo lessons sounded made up. Curiosity piqued, and against our better judgment, Lily and I decided to follow her one evening. We parked a little distance away and approached the community center, and that's when we witnessed the spectacle that left us gobsmacked. There she was, Miss Harlow, our supposedly frail and elderly mother-in-law, locked in a passionate embrace with an older gentleman on the bench outside. They were completely oblivious to their surroundings, and flabbergasted, we returned home without confronting her. After all, they're both adults and technically single, right? However, this seemingly harmless fling took a scandalous turn when a few days later a furiously irate elderly woman came storming up our driveway. It turned out the man Miss Harlow was seeing was not single at all. The woman, who identified herself as Gloria, claimed to have been in a long-term relationship with him and had discovered their 2-month affair. The situation escalated rapidly, and Miss Harlow, hearing the commotion, came out to a shouting match ensued. In a fit of rage, Miss Harlow even tried to throw her cane at Gloria, and our once peaceful neighborhood turned into a scene straight out of a soap opera. With neighbors gathering to witness the drama unfold, the police were called. Both ladies were temporarily placed in a squad car. Thankfully, no arrests were made. The officers, once they had pieced together the absurdity of the situation, probably just decided this was a matter best resolved without legal intervention. At this point, my patience had evaporated. I was not going to buy her a house. Instead, I found a solution that might be even better. I discovered a reasonably priced one-bedroom apartment, and with the funds saved, I could hire a full-time care nurse for Miss Harlow for at least the next 3 years. The silver lining in all the chaos was Lily's, and even Miss Harlow's lack of objection. It was almost as if everyone knew this was long overdue. However, as she moved out, the weight of this past month event pressed heavily on me. Has the damage Miss Harlow inflicted on our family, especially our kids, been irreversible? And what about our neighbors? Who knows? Well, they probably think that we're part of some ludicrous daily soap opera. The house feels eerily quiet with Miss Harlow's constant presence, but is it the peaceful silence we've longed for, or just the calm before another storm? Only time will tell. Update number 6. OP here with what I believe will be my final update on this whirlwind. That is Miss Harlow's life. Just when you think you've seen it all, life has a way of throwing a curveball at you. Oh boy, did we get a surprise! First things first, remember that full-time care nurse we arranged for Miss Harlow? She lasted 3 days. 3 days. Miss Harlow fired her, stating she's an idiot and, quote, did not know how to do anything right. We were unaware of this development, and she did not even inform us, but here's where it gets bonkers. She moved in with the gentleman she had an affair with. We've learned via some neighborhood grapevines that the gentleman is in the process of divorcing his wife of 40 years to be with Miss Harlow. The magnitude of this revelation left me dumbfounded, but looking at the silver lining, at least Miss Harlow is out of our home and is preoccupied with her new relationship. Our household has slowly but surely returned to its old peaceful rhythm. The kids are adjusting well, and the memories of Miss Harlow's antics faded with each passing day. Lily and I have used this newfound calm to bond and heal as a couple. In a light-hearted attempt to share domestic responsibilities and give Lily some relief, I've actually enrolled in cooking classes. Yeah, I know, it's a small gesture, but it means a lot to both of us. I'm no Gordon Ramsay. Yet. But hey, my spaghetti doesn't taste like rubber. I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude to this community. Through all the highs and lows, the advice and support, and even the occasional roast has been a constant source of strength. Your messages have a beacon during some of our darkest hours, and for that, Lily and I can't thank you enough. For now, life seems serene, and we've had enough drama to last us a lifetime, and we've cherished every moment of normalcy after this. Here's to hoping the next update, if any, will be about the new dish I've learned to cook or a treehouse I've built for the kids. Signing off, stay awesome. Comment number 1 from the final post. Wow, OP, what a roller coaster, really. It's a journey that you had with this mother-in-law, Miss Harlow. I'm honestly surprised you and Lily had the patience to deal with her antics for so long, and while I sympathize with her medical condition, her behavior was unacceptable. Kudos to you for taking the high road and not retaliating. On a lighter note, keep us posted about your cooking adventures. Would love a spaghetti recipe that doesn't taste like rubber. Comment number 2. Honestly, while I understand the challenges you faced with your mother-in-law, it still pains me to see families separate like this. Osteoarthritis is a severe condition, and the emotional toll can make people act out in unexpected ways. I hope with time the wounds heal and your family can reconnect. Life is short. P.S. Good luck on your picking up of cooking. It's a lovely way to bond with your kids and wife. Final comment. Seriously? Miss Harlow moved her lover into the apartment you're paying for? The audacity of some people. I'm just glad you finally are getting some peace. OP, trust me, taking up cooking classes is a game changer. Soon enough, Lily might be taking lessons from you. Remember, always prioritize your nuclear family and ensure your kids get the stability that they deserve. I'll be 100% straight with you guys. I did not see that coming, with Miss Harlow getting involved with a guy from bingo classes. I knew right away whenever she mentioned bingo lessons. What the heck is even that? Isn't bingo a game based on luck? How do you have lessons for it? She was lying. She was getting in that Uber to go down to the community hall so she can see her lover. Guys, I do want to hear your thoughts about this. Say, for instance, you were, I don't know, in OP's position, and you had to deal with this mother-in-law. Let me know your thoughts, guys, because this story was a little wild, but we've seen worse mother-in-laws before. At least this mother-in-law finally got out of OP's hairs, even though OP had to spend a lot of money to get that apartment for her. Let me know your thoughts. My name's Mr. Reddito. I narrate these stories every single day. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Remember, it's cool to be kind. See ya!